3 minutes. That's all it took to shake the heart of Argentina's main airport. And it started with men who looked like they had nothing left to lose. Ezeiza Airport. 2006. For most people, it was flights, luggage, long lines. For a small crew in Buenos Aires, it was the perfect hunting ground. The leader wasn't a flashy gangster. He was calm, quiet, the type who spoke only when it mattered. Around him gathered a few men, old acquaintances, each carrying debts, frustrations, and a taste for quick money. None of them were professionals in the Hollywood sense. But they were hungry. And hunger can be more dangerous than skill. What pulled them together was timing. Argentina was still reeling from its economic crisis. Cash moved fast. In bulk. Often with weak protection. Airport convoys became fat targets rolling through crowded terminals. Armored trucks carrying millions in pesos and dollars. Guarded by men who trusted routine too much. The crew had been watching. Studying. Blending into the noise of travelers. They noticed the same trucks. The same guards. The same stops. Predictable. And predictability, for desperate men, is an invitation. On the surface, their lives looked ordinary. One worked odd jobs. Another drifted through shady deals. But beneath that, a plan was simmering. A plan to take everything, in one clean strike. They weren't looking for blood. Just speed. Surprise. 3 minutes. To flip their lives. And soon the moment to act would come. The idea grew in whispers. In smoke-filled kitchens. In cars parked with engines off. The leader laid it out plain. The airport is the weak point. Not the bank. Not the street. The airport. They all knew the risk. Ezeiza wasn't just any target. Security cameras everywhere. Federal police close by. Thousands of eyes. But that also meant distraction. Crowds. Noise. And in that chaos, 3 minutes could feel invisible. The crew mapped the convoy's movements. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the armored truck pulled into the cargo zone. Same route. Same timing. Guards stepped out with bags of cash meant for international transfers. The routine never changed. One of the men worked nearby, blending as a baggage handler. He passed along details. Shift changes, blind spots in the lot, the guard who smoked too long before loading the cash. Another had a contact who could provide stolen vehicles. Cars without plates, ready to vanish. The plan was brutal in its simplicity. Strike the convoy the moment the doors opened. No long standoff. No drawn-out gunfight. A burst of force. Shock the guards. Grab the bags. And disappear before the airport police could react. 3 minutes was the window. Any second longer. And they'd be pinned down in Argentina's busiest airport. Each man knew his role. 1 to drive. 2 to storm the guards. 1 to collect the bags. And the leader, to time every breath, every move. It wasn't about elegance. It was about precision. And once the plan was set, there was no turning back. December 23, 2006. The airport was bursting with travelers. Families rushing for holiday flights. The crew blended in, calm faces hiding violent intent. The stolen cars rolled into position near the cargo area. Engines running. Doors unlocked. At 6:45 a.m., the armored truck pulled in. Exactly where they knew it would. Guards stepped out. Their hands full of bags. Bags that didn't hold clothes. But millions in pesos and dollars. The signal was small. A nod from the leader. And the 3 minutes began. 2 men stormed forward. Guns raised, but controlled. They weren't there to spray bullets. Only to shock. Shouts cut through the noise of the airport. The guards froze, caught between instinct and confusion. One robber ripped open the rear door of the truck. Inside, more bags. Heavy. Stacked. Money meant to fly out of the country. Now slipping into different hands. Another man moved fast, tossing the cash into a waiting car. The driver's hands trembled on the wheel. But he didn't move, until the order came. Travelers in the distance screamed. Some ducked behind cars. Others just froze. For the guards, it was too fast. Too sharp. One reached for his weapon, and a barrel pressed against his chest stopped him cold. 60 seconds gone. Half the bags loaded. The leader's voice was calm, almost cold. Faster. They weren't subtle. They were efficient. Grab. Load. Cover. No wasted motion. 2 minutes gone. The last bags shoved into the trunk. In the third minute, the robbers slammed the doors, piled into the cars, and vanished through the chaos of the lot. Engines roared. Tires screeched. And by the time the airport police scrambled, it was already over. 3 minutes. And they were gone. With millions. But mistakes came quickly. One of the stolen vehicles was abandoned too close to the airport. Inside, police found fingerprints. Not enough for immediate arrests, but enough to start a file. Inside the crew, tension grew. The leader demanded silence. No bragging. No sudden spending. Lay low. But not everyone listened. One man couldn't resist showing off. New clothes. Late-night drinks. Cash where there shouldn't have been. And rumors travel fast in Buenos Aires. The police were under heavy pressure. Newspapers screamed about the 3-minute robbery, right under the state's nose. Politicians wanted answers. That meant raids. Interrogations. Suspects pulled off the street whether guilty or not. Suspicion spread inside the crew. The driver started questioning the leader's cut. Another feared someone was talking to the cops. Paranoia set in. Calls went unanswered. Meetings were tense. The heist that took 3 minutes to pull off was starting to unravel in slow motion. The first arrests came within weeks. Police traced the fingerprints to known petty criminals. The faces matched old mugshots. The crew had counted on speed. But they hadn't counted on pressure. Argentina's federal police made the case personal. Roadblocks appeared on highways. Doors were kicked down in midnight raids. One of the crew panicked. He tried to run south, toward Patagonia. He never made it past a checkpoint. His pockets full of unexplained cash were enough to end his freedom. Another cracked under interrogation. He swore he hadn't touched the money, that he was only the driver. But his words gave investigators threads to pull. And the more they pulled, the faster the circle closed. The leader vanished. No one saw him in his neighborhood again. Some said he slipped into Uruguay. Others swore he bribed his way through the border with a fake passport. His silence left the rest exposed. Meanwhile, the money itself began disappearing. Bags hidden in safe houses suddenly gone. Stashes buried in warehouses emptied overnight. Nobody knew if it was the police, rivals, or one of their own cutting loose. The men who once moved like a single unit now looked over their shoulders at each other. Fear spread faster than any investigation. The guards who froze that morning faced disciplinary hearings. Accused of negligence. Their careers ended while the stolen millions slipped further from reach. By mid-2007, the story of the Ezeiza heist had shifted from triumph to collapse. Several crew members sat in federal cells, facing charges they couldn't outrun. The courts labeled them reckless criminals, not masterminds. The driver who talked too much received the harshest sentence. Another, the one caught with cash on him, followed quickly. Their families watched as the promise of a better life turned into years behind concrete walls. The leader never returned. Some believed he crossed into Paraguay under a false name. Others claimed he lived quietly in Uruguay, far from the city that remembered his crime. No official trace was ever found. As for the money, not all of it was recovered. Millions vanished into the shadows of Buenos Aires. Stolen. Hidden. Spent. No one ever gave a full account. For Argentina, the heist became a symbol. Not of brilliance, but of how fragile order could be. How 3 minutes of precision could humiliate an entire system. The guards never forgot the moment they froze. The city never forgot the headlines. And the men who thought they were buying freedom discovered that quick fortune burns faster than time. In the end, what started as a perfect 3-minute robbery ended as a slow, grinding punishment. Some escaped. Most did not. And the money, like the men who dreamed of it, disappeared into silence.